Good day and welcome to my channel. I'm DeMetrius, your host, and in this video, we'll be looking at the letter of Apostle James, an intimate review, part 5 by yours truly. You can enjoy this and many other reviews at my website, lawrencedemetrius.com. I encourage you to visit today. Now, in James chapter 2, verse 14, Apostle James adds to avoidance of respect of persons the evidence of genuine faith expressed by works. He writes, "What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save himself? Can faith save him?" James 2, verse 14. Profit in the Greek is ephilos. It means to gain. And to gain is to get something desired, especially as a result of one's efforts. It is to acquire as an increase or an addition. It is to obtain as a profit. Say is lego. It means to mean, as in to mean something. It also means to lay forth in words, usually in a systematic or set discourse. Faith is pistis. It is persuasion and credence. It is a moral conviction of religious truth, truthfulness of Yahweh or a religious teacher. It is reliance upon Christ for salvation and constancy of such profession. And it is the system of religious truth based on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Work is ergon. It is an act or toil as an act or occupation. And save is sozo. It means to deliver, protect, heal, and preserve. It also means to save self, do well, be, and make whole. Apostle James sheds light on the fact that one's own faith is unstable to save him when it is void of works. Christ teaches that one's true nature will be disclosed by what they say and what they do. We see that at Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 through 23. While soul salvation is invoked by one's heartfelt belief and verbal confession of the risen Christ, evidence of spiritual rebirth is expressed per their character, conduct, speech, and works. Now, the greatest of all good works is divine love. We see that at 1 Corinthians 12, verse 27 through 31 and chapter 13. The practice of agapao love is doing what is right, which destroys the power of evil. In James 3, verse 1, Apostle James teaches about one's desire to be recognized as a master teacher. He writes, "My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we, master teachers, shall receive the greater condemnation." James 3, verse 1, master is the didaskalos. It is an instructor. And condemnation is krima. It is the function and effect of a decision for or against something. One who holds the office of a master teacher is accountable for communicating and adhering to the most accurate understanding of what they teach. This is why those who are called of Yahweh to teach his principles are admonished to be well versed therein. The office of a master teacher should only be occupied by those who are truly called and qualified of Yahweh to do so. In James 3, verse 2, Apostle James writes, "For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body." James 3, verse 2. Offend here is tao. It means to trip, err, sin, and fail. Of salvation, perfect is teleos. It is completeness, and complete in various applications of labor, growth, mentality, and moral character. Apostle James notes that people in general do not always follow through as they should with one another, even the saints. However, a person who is able to verbally communicate with others without offending them is proven to be mature in service, personal growth and personal character. As the chief of master teachers, Christ always knew how to communicate much needed advice in a manner that did not offend his listeners. Evidence of Christ's awesome ability to communicate to unregenerated minds is noted per his interaction with marginalized and non-religious people. In all these occurrences, Christ expressed his ability to communicate words of life in a non-offensive tone. He and all master teachers sent by Yahweh are taught of Yahweh to speak in this manner. We see him at Isaiah 50, verse 4, and St. John 6, verse 63. They are also equipped to bridle their tongues and even their whole being. They may have to mature into this, and sometimes it takes a while to get to that point. But eventually, in their becoming master teachers, by that point, and the Lord presents them to the audience they are to serve, by that point, they will have known how to bridle their tongue and to have better control of themselves. Bridle in the Greek is kalinos. It is a curb or headstall for curbing the spirit or the mind. A curb as a noun is a restraint in anything that restrains or controls. A curb as a verb is to control, restrain, and check. Body is soma. It is the body as a sound whole, meaning spirit or seat of intellect. Soul, the seat of sentiment, and of course our physical body. We see that at 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 23 through 24. It is the soma. Apostle James writes, "Speak not evil one to another, brethren. He that speaks evil of his brother and judges his brother speaks evil of the law," meaning the divine law, "and judges the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou? Who art thou that judgest another?" James chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. Speak or speaketh is katalaleo. It means to be a traducer, slanderer, and it means to speak against. Brother is adelphos. It is literally or figuratively a brother. Law is namos. It is law through the idea of prescriptive usage and general regulation, and specifically the entire volume of the Mosaic Law. It is figurative of a principle, and it can also relate to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Judge or judges is krino. It means to distinguish and mentally or judiciously decide. It means to try, condemn, and punish. Judge is krites. It is a general or specific judge. Lawgiver is namathetes. It is a legislator, which is one who is a member of a legislative body that gives and makes laws. Destroy is apolumi. It means to fully destroy, perish, and lose. It is important to note that one who judges usurps the position of a judge, which only belongs to Yahweh, Matthew 5, verse 22. And James 4, verse 13 through 16, Apostle James notes that it is wicked to speak with assumption in regard to day-to-day anticipations. Speaking in general should also be done with regard to Yah's will. We see that at Matthew 6, verse 10 and 34, Apostle James writes, "Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue therein a year and buy and sell and get gain, whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. For that, he says, ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil, doing things without acknowledging the will of the Lord or the Lord. Therefore, to him that knows to do good and doeth it not, to him it is a sin. And that is in just about any and everything, and especially not recognizing the Lord and his will each and every day of our lives. James 4, chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. Vapor is at mist, it is a mist. The mortal lifetime is but a mist compared to the immortal lifetime. When Yahweh creates a mortal spirit, he intends for that spirit to abide with him forever and ever. However, he also creates them with free will. Thus, if they choose to practice a lifestyle of disobedience, they will suffer consequence for doing so during both their mortal and their immortal lifetimes. We see that at St. John 3, verse 19 and 36, and at Jude, verse 6. Will in the Greek is stelo here. It means to determine as an active option from subjective impulse. It means to wish or be inclined to do. It is to delight in, per the Hebrew culture. Apostle Paul notes in his letter to the saints at Rome that all things work together for the good or to benefit them who love or who have become one again with God through Christ and are the called according to his purpose. Romans 8, verse 28, thus it is unlikely for the Lord to will upon his worshipers that which does not benefit them. Christ teaches them to pray the Father's will to be done in their lives on a daily basis. We see that at Matthew 6, and 13. And there you have it. That's the letter of Apostle James, an intimate review, part 5 by yours truly. Again, you can enjoy this and many other reviews at my website, LawrenceDeMetrius.com. Go and enjoy that content today. And until the next video, be blessed in Jesus' name.